Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature, and we've got a real quick video today, and part of the reason was I just found out about this the other day, and I printed it off this morning, and I literally just got these out of the sun when I got home from work, and I wanted to show them off to you guys because some of this stuff here is not going to be available, well, at least for the price, that much longer. So Avatars of War, who've been a pretty long-established company, not a big major mover and shaker, but they've done a lot of interesting kits. They were one of the first to put out, for example, if I can grab them, they're all twisted up here, the plastic Slayers kit, which as of yet has, in my opinion, yet to be topped, because nobody else really does that. They put out quite a few different plastic rustic type kits for various dwarven troop types, for chaos warrior types, marauders, and a whole slew of various hero types in metal and also in resin. But now they have cast their hat into the Patreon arena, and I gotta say, for their first go at it, I'm pretty impressed. Now, technically, their first go is they had a bunch of variations on dark elf heroines. And I thought this was an interesting idea because rather than give you like 6 or 7 poses, they took the same 4 or 5 poses and then made a ton of different variations on them. And that's the same what they did right here. This is from their skeletons set that is available right now as of the end of this month when this is first going up. If you're watching this in the future, hopefully these are going to be available on their website or through my mini factory or something like that. But the kicker was, for the sheer pile of variants that they offered up, it was $4. And I'm like, $4, everything's pre-supported. I gotta give it a shot. And I mean, check it out. This is just basic, universal style, typical, traditional, armored, skeletal warriors. There's nothing weird, no crazy filigree, nothing fancy, nothing decked out over the top. Nothing weird like, happy smiley skull heads like this guy. They do scale quite nicely. And one of the really interesting things is, besides having all these variations, like I know there's another version of this guy right here with like flaming swords, and there's another version with like a flail. Check this out. They all actually are designed with a slot base. I thought that was kind of novel and clever and cool. And they do have the slot bases available to print if you don't have a million of them, like some of us will forever seem to do. I know he's really shiny. Please forgive me, but I gotta say the detail is definitely there. It's going to be a challenge getting them off and cleaned just due to how thin they are. Amazingly, I didn't break that many. The only things I broke were one of the spear tips, and I flubbed it majorly. Lots of different poses. And one of my favorite things was the fact that they offered up a character style model that I was quite happy to see. Check out this wight. There were actually a few different wights, but this should look in a very familiar style to many Warhammer players. Yeah, it totally looks like Krell. And there are a couple of different wights, actually. There was another version of him with, a different weapon in his hand. There were a couple that had their arms crossed on, leaning on a weapon standing up. So I was like, wow. And it looked quite nice. I mean, yes, obviously if I'd had a chance to prime them, which I didn't because I had to eat dinner and get the kids ready and practice Japanese and all that stuff. But I got to say, at least you can see that definitely the details are going to be there. And for the price, I really don't think I can complain. There were a few Dark Elf files still available, I think. And another interesting thing was they did have some available that were already attached to the base if you didn't want to go. And I mean, this is going to be really easy to clip off if you're not a fan. And I would say while you're removing the supports, if you wanted to do that, that would probably be the best time and easiest time. This dude, I broke one of the wings off, and it was 100% me. Nice commander model. And I haven't played with the scale. These are all at 100% regular. And of interest to you, rank and filer types, they had a bunch of nice basic spearmen in about at least four different poses, all in the same stance, but completely different looking. Some had hair, Some have, full helmets and shoes and armor bits and tattered chain mail and stuff like that. So there was oh, there it went. Yep, that was me again, not paying attention, I guess. Oh well. Easily fixed. But then also of interest I found was, at least until the end of the month of April, when these were all up, they were offering up an STL file for one of my favorite sculpts they did recently, which was their barbarian marauder warlord type guy. Now obviously this is not the STL file because, well, I haven't had a chance to print it, and obviously it's fully painted, based, and sealed. This is actually one of their resin ones, and I gotta say, as a resin kit, it was super tight. This was a really, really nice kit, and the fact that they're offering it up in addition to all of the skeletons, and I believe there were actually the wights, and there were like some floaty spectral reaper type wraith things in there as well, for $4. That's like less than a lunch. That's like if I don't get coffee or snacks during the week, which I usually don't anyway, because it all goes to STL files and junk like that. But, I think these scale up pretty nicely. Obviously, they are supposed to be skeletons, so they should not be looming and towering over somebody who still has their skin on. That wouldn't make sense. Grabbing a couple other models, just if you're curious. We'll see how they stack up. A Frostgrave model would be probably a wise choice. Meh. I mean, yeah, Frostgrave's a little bit on the smaller end of things, but, if you want some imposing, evil-looking skeletal minions, shoot, for $4, you can print yourself a warband. I was able to fit, I think, the bulk of these guys. Oh, shoot, were there more? I'm, like, just stammering and losing track of thought to myself here. I thought I printed some more. Maybe I didn't. I left them out in the sun or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to go check now. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here. Getting an actual Reaper model. Obviously, if you're going to be fighting skeletons, you're going to need a whip. I totally painted her up like Richter. Symphony of the Night, or Rondo of Blood, or Castlevania X, or whatever you want to call it. Get a WizKids figure in there. That's probably a better scale. I think they're a little bit closer. And this Reaper figure is a little bit small. I don't know why Kingdom Death stuff is going to tower over them. Not the best choice, but, he is a holy man. Go smash up those evil skeletons. Spread the word. Grabbing a modern GW model. So our warlord friend here is obviously suitably imposing over him, but he's going to fit in great with these skeletons. So I think if you wanted to do a traditional vampire counts, warband for skirmish options, for actually playing Age of Sigmar, I think multi-basing these things would be a really easy option if you wanted to go the Kings of War or 9th Age, which I know, Avatars of War has done some work with. I think there's just a lot of options, and again, for the price, it's super cheap. You get a ton of options. You get this guy if you do it in the next day or two. So something to think about. And everything was supported, and other than the fact that, yeah, you're going to be having to be extra careful, which I wasn't. Other than that, I think you got yourselves a great little deal, and I'm quite curious to see what they've got coming down the pipeline. Maybe some lizards. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Honestly and truly, I really dug the lizard models that Avatars of War made ages ago. And I painted all 3 of them, and I don't know where they are now. But, I know some of them were massive. Anyway, that'd be really cool to see. So, if you like this guy, go, seriously, take a look. We'll put a link down below, and hopefully get it while it's hot. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.